This week was all about the questions, the quirks, and the quiet truths. Have you ever stopped to ask why something had to be done a particular way, especially when it feels like the system is broken? That happened to me this week, and then my shoe literally broke. Fell apart in the middle of the day. Embarrassing, absolutely. Memorable, for sure. And in between simplifying the podcast plans and a conversation with my cobbler and dinner with some really good friends, I kept bumping into the reminder that when people tell you who they are, believe them the first time. Also, life doesn't have to be complicated. I'm Amit Tijani, and this is the weekly Unfold, where I share the asks, the fails, the lessons, the gratitude that keep shaping my life 1 week at a time. Let's get into it. This week I asked a very simple but important question. Why? Why does something have to be done in a particular way, even if it's to my detriment? And clearly to my detriment. I did a bit of digging, and it turns out that not every place or system actually works in that way. Sometimes the rules aren't as fixed as we think they are. They're simply fixed for certain groups of people, and I'm not here for those games. So I asked the question, why? Just tell me why. If you can give me a valid reason, good to go. If you can't, we need to work on that. So yeah, that was a very simple question that I asked this week. Why? My fail this week is fashion related. My shoe decided it wanted to give up on me in public at that. So I've got this really cute pair of mesh. I'd say they're not even sandals, they're just mesh shoes, but they have a really nice and defining gold bar across the front. The gold bar decided to fall off halfway through the day. Nothing like trying to walk confidently and your shoe literally breaking underneath you. It was in the middle of a hallway where people get the lifts and stuff, and literally just heard this clink, 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 and I looked down and everyone else was looking down to see who dropped something. I had to swiftly collect it and keep walking. Luckily, the jeans I was wearing were really long, so they kind of covered my mishap for the rest of the day. But yeah, we need to figure that out because I actually really like those shoes. Very unimpressed. Anyway, it is what it is. Keep it simple. I spoke about relaunching my podcast, and honestly, I've been overcomplicating things. I've been adding bells and whistles that just aren't necessary. What worked for me before was really simple and just honest conversations. Why am I trying to force myself to do something that I don't actually need? Why? I don't know. If I keep waiting for things to be perfect or holding myself up to these standards that aren't even my standards, they're other people's standards, I'm never going to get it off the ground. So I've kind of worked on changing that. So yeah, here's to actually getting on with the podcast and stop overthinking things. Things aren't where I want them to be, but I can still do what I need to do. I don't need to hire out this massive, fancy, colourful studio right now. I can do that in the future. So yeah, that's where I am. Keep things simple. One of the biggest reminders of the last week. Believe people the first time. A conversation that I had with my cobbler reminded me of this when I went to drop off some shoes. Not the shoes that I had an issue with. These other shoes. And I've been going to the same cobbler for I want to say over a decade, over 2 decades, since I was a kid. 3 decades. Anyway, all that to say, people often show us who they are relatively quickly, and it's on us whether we accept it or we keep making excuses. Now, it's not always the case, and they say hindsight is 20/20, but sometimes if I'm honest with myself, I saw the tip of the red flag and I chose to ignore it. So, yeah, sometimes we have to remember that people show us who they truly are the first time, or like early on. We don't need to hold out to find out their true colors. Catch up dinner with some of the ladies who went to Cannes with me the very first time that I went to Cannes. And it was both delightful and delicious. It's just really nice to reconnect with so many of them, and check in, see how everyone's doing. Nadu had this great idea of everyone bringing a something for everyone. So we all bought, there was 10 of us, we all bought 10 of a particular item, and by the end of it we all had a nice little gift bag that we could go home with. So yeah, that was really, really nice. And we all shared our wins as well, that we were proud of the in the year so far, and it was nice to see how everyone's getting on. So yeah, really grateful and thankful for that moment. Honestly, my body. I've had some like lower back pain for, I don't know, I want to say like a couple of weeks, but over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been actively moving, doing exercises that I was like, before just putting off. I was like, oh, my back hurts a little bit. Oh, I can't do it. Actually, yeah, by moving, my back has, like, the pain has eased, and it's just beautiful to me to be able to think of movement as medicine. So I'm just super grateful for the ability to be able to move and to be able to enjoy movement as a form of medicine. So yeah, feeling super grateful for this body here that I got. Not gonna lie, I've been sweating a lot and I'm mad tired as a result of working out, but it's great. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, it's part of the process, right? My colleague Stephanie, she's based in the US, and so we're different time zones, but she's the kind of person you want in your corner when things do not go to plan. Last few days, things were not going to plan, and she's just been great. And we're just kind of like on the same wavelength, so we have the same sort of humor, and she just gets it. She gets it. So massive shout out to Steph. I'm super grateful and thankful to have her as my counterpart, as my teammate, etc., and just helping me navigate some pretty tricky situations. Well, it's not even tricky, like it's just I made it feel trickier than it actually was. Once she was able to help me, I was like, oh, well, this is it. Sometimes you just need someone else's viewpoint to be like, actually, it's not as bad. So, super thankful to have her around at the moment. Honestly, as we step into week 37 or 52, I am really leaning into the theme of the month, simplicity. I'm purging. I did a bit of purging last week, as I said, and I'm leaning into doing more of that this week. Planning to let go of like some of the unnecessary parts so that I can just simplify my life, and do it without feeling guilty. Because I think sometimes there's an element of like, oh my gosh, if I let this go, then, whatever. But I don't need that. I don't know why I keep going into different accents, but yeah, I don't need that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to purging a little bit more this coming week. We'll see how it goes. As always, stay out of trouble, unless it's good trouble, in which case, go wild. And I will see you next week. Tell a friend to watch my videos, please. I really need to tell more people about this video because actually I do want to make it a thing. But yeah, something clicked last week, but when I did this video last week, I said the same thing. But in these last 7 days, I'm not going to go into what happened, but something made me be like, girl, if you don't sort this thing out and do the thing. So yeah, I've been telling people more about it on like the gram of Instas, for example. So I'm looking at telling people more because yeah, I like doing this and I think others would like and enjoy it too. I think, who knows, I might be kidding myself. Anyways, gotta go. Deuces.